Hey everybody. Happy Monday. I hope y'all had a great weekend. I'm trying to clean these glasses off so I can see the questions when y'all pop them in. Let's see. I think it's Kareem. Hey Kareem, let me know if I spelled your name correctly or incorrectly. But I'm assuming that everybody can hear me and see me since I've already gotten a comment. So type 1 if you can hear me, 2 if you can see me. So I can make sure everybody can hear and see me before I get started. But today I want to try something a little bit different. I'm gonna screen share with you guys and do a little bit of coaching before I start taking questions because thank you, S. Jackson. Because I keep getting questions, reoccurring questions or comments rather, with people saying that they thank you for letting me know, and let me know where y'all are joining me from today too. For those of you who are frequent listeners, you know I'm in North Carolina, the RTP area. But for those of you who don't know, that's where I'm at. I get a lot of people in North Carolina in the area, so I always like to ask to see where everybody's from. But today I'm going to do something a little bit different just because I keep getting the same types of comments, questions about you need to have monitoring experience in order to land your first CRA job. And I don't know how this myth got started or where it came from or why it is, hey Walisha, or why it's, you know, it seems to be like a disease. And Walisha, hey, thanks. I see you're in Charlotte. And y'all, Walisha and I, we have something special for y'all coming up. I'm going to do an interview series. So be on the lookout for that. It's going to be on my podcast coming soon. So stay on the lookout for that. And Walisha's going to help me with that. So, but it's a huge myth. You do not need monitoring experience to land your first CRA job. You don't. I didn't have it. I don't know a single colleague or friends or any CRA that I've ever met randomly in passing where we've had conversations about this stuff. I've never met one that has had monitoring experience before they got started. So I'm sure that those people are out there, they exist, but that just goes to show you what small percentage that number is. So you guys, y'all got to stop worrying about getting monitoring experience. If you are a clinical research professional and you have experience in any clinical research experience in any capacity, then you have that basic level of clinical research experience that I've always talked about that you need. So you don't have anything to worry about. You just need to focus on branding, marketing, and selling yourself and applying. So, for those of you who don't know, every Monday I come on, I do these Q&A sessions, and you can ask me anything. Thanks, Magdalena. I see you're in Lawrenceville. That's close to my hometown, so yay. But for those of you who don't know, I do these every Monday at 7, so drop your questions in the comments. And you can ask me whatever CRA career questions that you have, any issues that you're struggling with landing your first CRA job, whether that's your resume, interviewing, or you don't even know where to get started. Whatever your question is, drop them in the comments and I will address them. But before we get into that, I want to screen share and kind of I want to dig into a couple of JDs so you guys can see what I'm talking about. Because I don't even see it on the job description. So I have to show this to y'all firsthand so that we can bust this myth and y'all can see what I mean when I say you just need to focus on BMS and stop the mind drama with saying you need this, you need that, you need another degree. You don't need it to do anything except brand market and sell yourself. So let me open up my screen. And I'm going to show you guys a couple. Let me see. Where can I do it? Okay. Okay, you should be able to see my screen now. So And let me know if you can't see my screen. If you can, thumbs up. Send me a thumbs up. But this is a CRA Clinical Research Associate 1 job that is posted. I pulled this today. I wanted to do it in real time so it won't be like an old post and nobody can say, well, that's old, that don't count. I pulled it today, y'all. So this is a CRA JD job post from today that LabCorp has. It's for CRA 1, Clinical Research Associate 1, right? And if you scroll down into the job description, it lists all of the responsibilities for this particular job. Assist with, provide coverage, update, track, follow, attend. It talks about all of your duties, and then it drops down to a little spiel on LabCorp. But you can see, thanks, Felicia, for letting me know you can see my screen. But you can see if I keep scrolling, now it just has the apply. Beatrice, thanks. Hi, Beatrice. Thanks for joining us from Myrtle Beach. But you can see if you keep scrolling, that's it. It doesn't say anything about I'm gonna go all the way to the end for those of you who are like, well, keep scrolling, it might be at the end. It's not. It doesn't say anything about you need monitoring experience. Because I keep getting that whenever I have these discussions, everybody's like, well, you need to have monitoring experience. And people are stressed out, freaking out, literally hopeless, ready to give up because they keep saying it's the job descriptions are saying you need monitoring experience. And you can see it doesn't say it, right? Not in this one. So this is LabCorp CRA 1, and I want to show you comparison to a CRA 2 position. Same thing, LabCorp, same company. It's a level 2 position. And if you scroll down, it has the job. I don't know why it keeps doing that glitch. It has the job duties. You can see that. Then it has the qualifications. This one actually has the qualifications listed, y'all. And it says degree, but then it says 2 years of clinical monitoring experience. This one is a CRA 2 position. So in the 30 over 30 series, I also talked about this as one of the days that some of y'all are just applying to the wrong CRA jobs. If you don't have any monitoring experience, you don't need to be applying to the junior and, God forbid, the senior level CRA jobs. Those are not for you. If you have a PhD and MD, that doesn't make you qualified for junior and senior level CRA jobs. That is just essentially a piece of paper, y'all, that does not make you qualified to become a junior, senior level monitor because you have to have experience practicing a certain level of skills when it comes to monitoring. If you are applying to CRA 2, like this job description, or if you're applying to senior level, then that means senior level means you don't need any hand holding. We can give you a study and you can just take off running with very little information other than these are your sites, this is your study, here's the protocol, here's the training, here's the SOPs. We need you to get these visits done by the end of the month, the end of the week. That's senior. Junior is not quite that to that extreme, to that level, but it's still very little hand holding. You need very little training. You don't need to be taught, okay, this is what needs to be done at a qualification or selection visit. This is what you need to do at an initiation visit. Like, we're beyond that. You can get the job done, maybe not quite as efficient or without that as throwing in the water like the senior CRA, but you definitely aren't at that entry level. I call them baby level because you need to be trained and taught how to do every single piece of the job, every single piece of not only the monitoring aspect, but all the administrative behind the scenes things that need to be done as well. That's the entry level jobs, and that's where you should be focusing if you're working on landing your first CRA job. That's your lane. So maybe, just maybe people are, and let me know in the comments, have you been applying to the wrong CRA jobs, the wrong level? Have you been applying to junior and senior level jobs? Is that the issue? Or are you applying to entry level jobs that don't require the monitoring experience? I want to get to the root of the problem so I can see how to help y'all. And here's another one. So this is one that I found. This was on LinkedIn. You see, I went to LinkedIn. I just put in CRA 1. That was it. And then this is one of the jobs that popped up. And we're going to scroll through on this one. They have a position overview. It talks about some of your essential duties. And then keep scrolling. And then it talks about the minimum qualifications, the degree. We know we talked about the degree. And then bam, it says 1+ years of experience in clinical research. It doesn't say monitoring. It doesn't say as a CRA. It doesn't say on-site monitoring. It doesn't say source data verification or source data. It doesn't say any of the things that a lot of people keep telling me that you need. It doesn't say, and y'all can see it for yourselves. It doesn't say any of that, which is why I go back to telling y'all that once you are a clinical research professional with that basic level of experience and you're still having issues landing your first CRA job, you have a branding, marketing, and selling problem. That is your problem. That is your problem. And a lot of times it might just be the selling part. If you're getting interviews, if you've gotten interviews and you didn't get that offer and make it to that final stage of getting that offer, then you have a selling problem. Yours might be, you might be okay with branding and marketing. Yours might just be selling. But somewhere along that BMS line, there's some issues if you already have clinical research experience and you're still struggling. And you can look this job up yourself on LinkedIn. You can go in the job search, you can put in CRA I, and then you can look for this company. It says Exact Sciences, and you see it has 2 hours ago, and then they posted it 2 hours ago, and then they've already gotten 43 applications. And this is where, and I see Kareem. You're welcome, Kareem. But you see, in 2 hours, they've already gotten 43 applications. And this is just, I'm pretty sure they didn't just post it on LinkedIn. They probably posted it on other job search engines too. But this is where I want y'all to see where BMS comes in at, because if you're competing against this many people, and we're going to take a look at the other one and another one in a second, but just imagine in 2 hours, 43, if you just multiply that and consistently, let's say every 2 hours is another 43, you can see how many people are applying, right? And I don't say that to discourage you so you can be like, oh my God, they're never going to see me. No, that's where branding, marketing, and selling comes in at. And that's why you have to focus on BMS so that you can stand out, so that you can position your unique story so that they can see what a great person you are, what a great candidate you are, how qualified you are, and why they should bring you in and hire you for that specific role. That's the power of BMS. And I cannot say it enough. Y'all, I get referred to jobs that by people that I don't even know. Like literally, I'll get an email saying such and such referred you to this job. Do you want to proceed with the job application process? Do you want to continue? Do you want to accept an interview? I don't know who the person is, but because I have worked so hard on branding and marketing myself, people feel like they know me, they know my work ethic, they know what type of employee I am, they know my skills, they know my experience. So simply because I have worked so hard on branding, marketing, and selling myself, that's the power of BMS, and I cannot stress that enough. So this is another one. Here's another one, y'all. On LinkedIn also, I found it. Again, I found all of these today. This one says all CRA levels, CRA I, CRA II, and then senior. So Icon is looking for, and this was posted 2 weeks ago. They've only gotten 187 applicants. So not quite as, and the other ones, who knows? Maybe that other application, they might peak there. Probably not, but potentially. But you see, after 2 weeks, they've gotten 187. And this is just on LinkedIn for this specific job post. So let's scroll through and see what they have to say. And again, keeping in mind, I want to go back to the top. This is for all CRA levels. They're looking for 1, 2, and senior. And they talk about the role and what it entails. And then they talk about what you'll need. This is the requirements. This is the expectations, the qualifications, the degree, which we know you need to have ICH GCP guidelines experience, have excellent written and verbal communication, good social skills, and be willing to travel. They don't say anything about monitoring experience, how much monitoring experience, how many years on site. They don't say anything about that. And this is a all levels CRA I, II, and senior job description. So again, they're out here. I don't know. Maybe some people are looking in the wrong place. Again, maybe you're applying to the wrong levels. I don't know. But I wanted to specifically come on here and show you guys these job posts, these job descriptions, and take a look at them with you so that you can see that I'm not making this up. They're out here. And I want y'all to find them. I want you to achieve your goals. I want to see y'all win. So they are out here. You just have to have an open mind. The mindset shift is everything. I talked about that in the 30 over 30 series. You have to have that mindset shift, and you have to let go of the limiting beliefs, and you have to step into the empowering beliefs that you're more than capable of becoming a CRA. You are already a CRA. You make a great CRA. Your CRA dream job with your CRA dream company is right around the corner. You have to stay focused on those beliefs, regardless of how many rejections you've gotten, regardless of how hopeless you get. You might have those days where you want to vent. Get it out, journal it out, write it all down, but then immediately shift back into those empowering beliefs. You have to stay focused on the goal, the vision, the dream, and you cannot get caught up in what they say or what somebody told you or what happened to your friend. Like, let that go. That's not you, and it doesn't have anything to do with you, because I've just showed you right now 3 entry level CRA 1 jobs that all 3 real time does not say anything about you need monitoring experience, on the site monitoring experience. Sometimes I get the response that, well, they told me I needed to have CRO experience. It doesn't say nothing about CRO experience. All of the common objections that I get with people saying, well, I can't find a job because of this or because of, no, it's about your branding and your marketing and your selling. That's what it's about. If you just statistically look at the numbers of applicants versus the number of positions that are out there, there has to be a way to narrow down the system. And it's about who stands out the most. It's about who's making themselves the most available, who's the most visible, who has the strongest president, who has the best story. And that's where BMS comes in at. So I just wanted to show y'all that so that you can have something to think about. And hopefully this will give you guys motivation in seeing that, okay, so I don't need to have the monitoring experience. I was tripping. Now let me get focused. So hopefully, that helps somebody. Now, down to the questions. I don't see any yet. Put your questions in the comments. These sessions are totally for y'all. So, and I'm trying to answer questions in real time. I did get, I had some questions on YouTube, and I think I know I had some on LinkedIn that I apologize. I did not pull the list, so I don't have that in front of me. But if you have any questions, please drop them in the comments right now so I can address them in real time. If you sent me a question previously and I have not answered it, I apologize. Please resend it right now and I'll get to it. So I'm gonna give people a few minutes to get your questions in the chat. And if I don't get any questions, then I'm gonna hop off. So let me know. Do you have any questions about what I just spoke about the job descriptions that we just looked at? Do you have any questions about that? Do you have any questions about how I found those specific job descriptions? Let me know. Let me see if I can find. I don't see any, y'all. Radio silence. I'm gonna give everybody a few more minutes to drop questions. And if I don't get questions, I mean, like I said, I do these sessions for y'all. So maybe we need to switch it up in forever and not just cover a topic versus asking questions. But I do them for y'all. So let me see if I can find some of the questions that someone had already asked previously. I just have been coaching all week and all last week. So I didn't get a chance to pull them. Okay. I see a question from, it says LinkedIn user. I hate it when it doesn't show me the person's name, but somebody from LinkedIn says, I am, let's see this question. So, what does the question say? I'm currently a CTM looking to get back into the CRA role. Would you recommend staying within my current company or looking outward? So that's a great question. I'm a CTM looking to get back into the CRA role. And I'm glad you asked this question because a lot of people feel like, okay, well, once I go to CTM or project manager, then I can't, I'm done with CRA. I'm not gonna go backwards. It's not a backwards move, y'all. A lot of times CRAs actually make more than CTMs for those of you who are specifically focused on salary. So it's definitely not a backwards move, but I would suggest simultaneously doing both. So I'm one of those people that I don't think in either or, I think in both and. So you could do both. And then throw the fishnet out and see what you reel in. So start with your current line manager and say, "Hey, I'm tired of CTM," or whatever your reason is. I don't want to put that on you, but I want to go back to CRA. And so what do we need to do to transition me over to CRA? Because there's a CRA shortage right now. So I'm pretty sure, I don't know what company you're with, but I'm pretty sure they just don't want to lose you. So they'd be more than happy to transition you right over to CRA. But then I know that sometimes it takes a while to find replacements to backfill that position. So it might take a couple months, 2 or 3 months. So if you really want to get out of that role like immediately, your best bet might be externally. And there's also a CTM shortage. People are looking for CTMs. So I would do it simultaneously. I would reach out to my network. I don't know what your situation is or know you well enough, but even for you as a CTM, I'm going to always refer everybody to BMS. It's all about branding, marketing, and selling yourself. Anytime I've transitioned into another role, I've never submitted an application. I haven't submitted an application since 2013 simply because of BMS. So for you, as a CTM wanting to go back, if you have worked on branding, marketing, and selling yourself, it would be simply a matter of reaching out to your connections saying, "Hey, I want to transition back into CRA. What do you have for me?" And then by the end of the week, next week, you should be able to get another CRA job. And then you can compare and say, okay, when you speak with your line manager, how quickly can you get me out of this role? Because I already got another offer. And then have several options on the table within a week or two. I'm talking really fast, especially now that there's a CRA shortage. I don't know your therapeutic area, but if you are also in one of those specialty areas, even faster. So when I left my position where I was given a choice of either coaching and podcast or I had to leave the company, within a week I had offers. But that goes back to branding, marketing, and selling yourself. And I didn't apply to a single job, keeping that in mind. So I hope that helps. Let me know if that answers your question. If it didn't, pop in another question. Nina Stark, I see your question. Do you find that it may be harder to get promoted from CTA roles to a CRA position within the same company if you've been there less than 6 months? Yes, Nina. I actually do find that because most companies have this policy that you have to be in a role for a year before you can get promoted to internally, before you can be promoted to the next role. And my dream company at the time, they had actually offered me a CTA job, and I knew that I didn't want to. I wanted to work for that company as a CRA, not a CTA, and I didn't want to get boxed in and stuck in that, like, that 1 year group, or God forbid it turned into two, because that was my dream company. So they gave me an offer for a CTA job, and I turned it down because I knew I wanted to be a CRA with that job, and I mean with that company, and I knew I wouldn't want to, wait. So I took a CTA job with another company, got a certain amount of experience, and that is one way that you can get to your the CRA goal quicker, is by choosing to see, like you said, switching over to another company, because within the same company, most of the time they have those policies. So there's like this red tape that you can't get around, even if you wanted to. So yeah. If that's you, Nina, I would definitely suggest to put my feelers out, because a lot of companies now, if you've been a CTA for even 3 months, they're like, we desperately need CRA, so please come. So definitely put your feelers out for other companies. And I'm so glad that was helpful. I don't know why it says LinkedIn user. That's annoying, but I'm glad that was helpful. So anybody else? Does anybody else have any other questions? And what time is it? We're getting close to 7:30. So if you have any other questions, please drop them in the comments. I want to make sure I address everybody's questions. Let me see. I know there were some. I think there were. I can't believe I didn't get my list together. You're welcome, Nina. Let me see. And then I guess because I'm live, my other screen is like moving so slow. So, any other questions, guys? If not, I'm going to hop off. So, while we're waiting to see if any other questions come through, I do want to let you guys know that next week, I will actually be, instead of the regular Q&A session, I'm going to go live and do my first ever podcast recording live. So you definitely don't want to miss that, because I don't know if I'll ever do them again. But Dan Spare, the clinical trials guru, aka the clinical trials guru, and also the co-founder of the CRA Academy, he reached out. We've been going back and forth for a while with getting this done. And he said, well, why don't we just go live? So I was like, okay, well, I guess I'm going live. Let me see. Where is the, and now I lost the, I don't know where the screen is. Okay. So yeah, I said I guess I'm going live. So that'll be next Monday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I'm getting distracted because I have all these screens open, and then it like screen shared randomly. So bear with me. I'm getting it together. But you don't want to miss it, because we're going to hear all about his story, about his journey when he was a CRA and how he transitioned over into other thing. And now you guys know he has this huge clinical research empire. So literally the sky's the limit. You can be a CRO and stay a CRO. You can stay working for a company. You can start your own thing. You can open up sites like he did. You can start a CRO like he did. There's so many things that you can do beyond the CRA role, which is why I feel like it's like such an amazing role to get, whether it's in-house CRA, whether it's regional traveling CRA. I call it like the gateway role into all areas of clinical research. So you don't want to miss that. That'll be in place of the Q&A session. So that's next Monday, the 19th, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It'll be a live podcast recording. And let's see what else. I see Magdalena. She asked a question. So let's check out her question. Why do companies not substitute clinical experience in higher education years for the 1-year research experience requirement? That's a great question, Magdalena. So, and it's a two-part question, because you asked, why do they not substitute clinical experience and then higher education? So let's tackle the higher education first. Well, higher education, number one, I think there's been a major shift in the education and workforce industry in general when it comes to how education is viewed in general. So before it was like you had a bachelor's, it was like, oh wow, you had a master's, it was like you killing it. And then if you had a doctor levels degree, it was like untouchable, right? You're untouchable. But now experience trumps all of that because especially in our space, the clinical research industry has become so the trials, the complexity, the level of complexity of the trials have become so intricate and so involved that it doesn't matter how many degrees you got, you're still not going to know how to run a trial on day one, on day two, on day three. So it's all about the value that you bring to the table when you start on day one. And if you have a PhD, even if you have an MD, they don't cover clinical research and how to run a trial in medical school. That's not a basic part of the curriculum. They just don't. So you're still going to be at a loss. You're still going to be behind someone who has been a clinical trials assistant or clinical research coordinator for a year. You just are. Um, so that's where the education piece comes in at, which is why for the babies, the people that are coming out of high school, I always say if you know that you want to be in clinical research right now, then go and find you a study coordinator job and then simultaneously get your degree. So that by the time you finish the degree, you'll have the experience that you need. But getting the degree first, it's not a bad thing. Just know that you're going to graduate and you're still going to be in the same boat. You can get a master's level degree, you're still going to be in the same boat. It doesn't matter what level you're on, you're still going to be in the same boat of no experience. So even if you have to, my very, very, very first experience was volunteering at a small private practice clinical research site. That's how I got my very first experience. So even if you have to do that, that's better than nothing. And it's not to say that you won't be able to get a job without doing that. There's certainly a lot of people that have, but I'm one of those people that I'm just not going to sit around and wait when I could be doing something proactively towards my goal. And if that means I need to volunteer at a site, then that's what I'm going to do. And that's my advice to everybody. And then it happened fairly quickly. It wasn't like I was volunteering for months and months. It was like within I don't know, I can't remember, like maybe 3 weeks or so, 3 or 4 weeks, that I was volunteering and then I got a job. But I went into my first role knowing the basics because I had been able to essentially have the responsibilities of a study coordinator as a non-paid volunteer. I got some really great experience. And that was when after I had my bachelor's in biology and chemistry, after I had my master's in pharmacology, I was literally in a PhD pharmacology program at UNC Chapel Hill. And once I realized that piece of paper wasn't going to help me get to my goals in the way that I thought, I asked to leave my PhD program and I left with a master's and I took a different route just because I began to see the shift in the industry. And I knew that piece of paper wasn't going to be it. And it's not to minimize people's accomplishments and saying that, oh, it doesn't mean anything if you go to graduate school. I'm not saying that. So anybody that's thinking that, you're missing the point. What I'm saying is that there's a shift in the workforce and we have to acknowledge it because that's what's going on now. So that's why the education doesn't matter as much. But when it comes to the clinical experience, that's another story, Magdalena. So if you do have that clinical experience, like I see that you said you're a foreign physician, that actually can help you out. It doesn't fall in the same category as just having the degree with no clinical experience, no clinical research experience, no scientific experience. Like that's a whole different bucket. But if you do have at least some clinical experience, then you are a little bit ahead of the game, as opposed to somebody else that is in that other bucket. So for you, Magdalena, that would go back to BMS, branding, marketing, and selling yourself. So I can absolutely see there was actually a person in my CRA training program group class for my first role. There were actually two people, now that I think about it, that were in your same position. There were foreign physicians that didn't have any clinical research experience, but they were able to land their first CRA job. And it just boils down to branding, marketing, and selling yourself. So I do see that more commonly as a path for foreign physicians, as opposed to that other bucket that I talked about previously. Now, Another path that I see, Magdalena, for people in your boat is the study coordinator route. So they'll be study coordinators for a little while and then transition over into the CRA role as well. So that's another thing to think about, Magdalena. But that's great questions. And thank you about the interview comment with Dan. Thank you. And Magdalena, I see that it says you have 16 years as a registered medical assistant in the US. So that's some more great experience. You're a foreign physician and you have all of that medical assistant experience too. So for you, I really think it's about you got to learn how to brand market and sell yourself. So take a look at the 30 over 30 series that I did, and I lay out a bunch of different things that you can do to help with that. That sounds like that's your problem. Yeah, and I see, Magdalena, that you said a few months ago, I obtained a clinical research professional certificate, but I'm still struggling to get the job. And that goes back to my statement about getting additional degrees. So getting additional degrees, getting additional certifications or certificates, still fall in the same boat. It's a piece of paper. And that piece of paper, although you can, like, I guess, use it as a marketing tool, that's not the end all be all just because you got that certification or certificate rather. Because I'm not sure what certification you're talking about, but the only official industry recognized certification, clinical research professional certification, is offered through SOCRA, and you have to have a certain amount of hours that you've proven in the clinical research space in order to even take that exam. So my guess is that it's not the SOCRA one, since you said you don't have that clinical research experience just yet. So that's another thing. Although it's helpful to have like that basic knowledge, theory and knowledge is totally different than hands-on experience, because most of the time in the industry, what you learned in the book does not happen in real life. Most of the time we're putting out fires and figuring out creative ways on how to get by. So that's another challenge that we face in the industry, which is why having that degree or that piece of paper is not going to supplement the seats. It's not going to, you're not going to trump the CTA or the study coordinator or the regulatory coordinator, regulatory specialist. It's a PhD is not going to trump that. It's just not. And I see you said clinical research fast track. So yeah, that's not the industry recognized certification. They're only offered through SOCRA and ACRP. So any other questions? Do you guys have any other questions for me? I want to try to make sure I get all the questions in. So yes, definitely join me next week live. Me and Dan will be on. You'll get to hear, we're going to walk his story, his journey from beginning to end, where he is now. So it's going to be a really, really great one. And me and him are actually working on a few more collaborations. You're welcome, Magdalena. We're working on a few collaborations, so we have coming out for you guys. So stay tuned. And then for those of you who are, you've been following me, you've been listening, but you still can't quite get the BMS piece together on your own. You feel like you need more support, more help. I have a 6-month coaching program where I help clinical research professional women confidently land their first CRA job offer, struggling frustration free, with no monitoring experience or CRA certification, all through just simply teaching you how to brand market and sell yourself. And now the program includes an initial onboarding call where we will immediately assess and revamp your resume, your cover letter, your LinkedIn profile, everything that you need to brand and market yourself. We get it done out of the gate. And then you'll also have 6 months of high-level one-on-one private coaching sessions directly with me via Zoom. You'll also get immediate on-demand access to my curriculum filled with all the frameworks, the templates, the checklists, the protocols, everything that you need to land your first CRA job offer with ease and with confidence. You also get direct messaging support from me. so that we can communicate in between the weekly calls. You'll get a mock interview with a recruiter. You get bonus courses on negotiating a high paying offer and fast tracking your career so that you're good to go. Once you get that offer, you know how to negotiate the best offer and you know how to take your career to the next level quickly. And then you'll get a CRA career plan and so much more. So if you're ready to stop struggling alone and confidently land your first CRA job offer, frustration free with no monitoring experience or CRA certification, then book a sales call with me to learn more about my one-on-one coaching program and how I can help you. Just visit aspiringcra.com. So I don't see any more questions, guys. It's 7:42 now. So if anything else comes up after this live today, please DM me. Send me your questions. Send me your thoughts, so that we can address them and we can break them down. You can also drop the questions here and under this post. If you're watching the replay, you can drop it in the comments, and I'll make sure I check them this time before I go live and pull them so I can address them. But either one, you can drop it in the comments. You can shoot me a DM. But let me know, guys, what you need help with. And let me know if you have any questions. Other than that, I will see everyone next week for the live podcast recording with Dan Sfera that you guys don't want to miss. So thank you, guys, and have a great night.